Hey folks, it's me, Professor Blowers, excited to work with you on our first grader assignment. This is 1G Regional Sales. So we'll just dive into it. This is what it looks like when you sign into my Lab IT. So I'll go ahead and select one of my Excel classes and immediately click on Course Materials. It does take some time in between pages, just a heads up. You can see from my end that it's taken, let's say, 5 seconds. We're going to be comparing regional sales, so Northeast, Southeast, and West. These are our course materials. So you'll notice we've got 3 chapters, a midterm, and then 4 chapters before our final exam. We are starting on Chapter 1 this week, so go ahead and click on the Chapter 1 folder, and you'll see the 4 assignments. By the time you start 1G, my hope is that you've done A and B from the book, not the simulations, ideally, taken the quiz, and then clicked here on 1G Regional Sales. And it'll open up a pop-up. If it doesn't, be sure to enable pop-ups. And here's the steps for the grader assignments, right? So I'll go ahead and download the materials. There's the 4 files. We've got the instructions on a Word document. You've got the .xlsx file. That's what we'll be opening and working on and then re-uploading at the end of this project. We've got a theme, so we'll see what that is in a little bit. We've got the final results, so we know what we are working towards. You'll notice that I downloaded all of the files and I have a zipped folder down here, alright? We'll click that directly from Chrome is what I'm using. You'll notice at the top that I need to still extract it, so click right here. Compressed folder tools, click extract all, extract again, and here's the 4 files that we were meant to be working on. Just making sure that everything's working. Hey folks, we'll dive back in and we'll open up the regional sales file and we'll open up the instructions, one right after the other, right? So this is our Word document. These will be our instructions for this project. And for 0 points, well, we've already opened it. Let's enable editing up at the top. Here's our Excel file. Let's click enable editing here as well. You'll notice up at the top we've got our tabs: home, insert, draw, page layout, formulas, data, review, view, help, and Acrobat. Down below right here you've got the clipboard group, font group, alignment group. This is important as we go on through this video because I'll say, for example, click on the Insert tab, and in the Illustrations group, for example, click Pictures. So we're all speaking the same language here, right? First order of business, I'll, in the bottom right-hand corner, zoom in so we can see our data a bit more. You'll notice that we have 4 quarters worth of sales data from 3 different regions. We'll be, on this project, we'll be calculating total sales in the regions and by quarter. We'll be figuring out a percentage of that total. See if we can find a trend. And these are regional sales to fitness clubs, just a heads up. And we'll start on step number 2 that says change the theme to Retrospect. Alright, I'm excited about this one. Let's see how many points, for 8 points. And I do want to take the time on our first video to show you around Excel a bit. And what you'll see right here up at the top where the cursor's blinking, I'll type in hello. That's our formula bar right up here. And in Excel, almost everything, our formulas will start with an equal sign, right? You'll see I'm currently in cell F8 or Falcon 8. And the most common one would be sum, equals sum. And then you click it and you can do, 2 plus 2, for example. Close it and there you go. You've got 4. Just by entering in that formula up here in the formula bar. That's what f of x is. Insert function. This over here is our named box, which we'll get into. So we can go ahead and clear what we just did in F8. I just wanted to show you around. But we'll go to the page layout tab because step number 2 is asking us, hey, we need to change the theme to Retrospect. So back to Excel, and you'll notice I said click on the page layout tab. And in the Themes group, click on the Themes button. And would you look at that? In the second row, 4th column, here is Retrospect. Go ahead and select that. You won't see much of a change on the front end, but that will get you 8 points by switching it to Retrospect. Notice maybe you're a Mac user, it may not work out for you. As long as it looks professional, I'm pretty flexible with you. So let's make sure that we set the width of column A to 80 pixels. Great. All right, let's jump to the next step. And we'll make some adjustments to the columns. So over here in the A column, and if you see this downward pointing arrow, that'll select the entire column. But let's select in between the border area right here between A and B. And when you click here, you'll notice it says 82 pixels. We're almost there, but let's change the width of column A to 80 pixels. Perfect. And then the range B, H. So go ahead and click on column B, press Shift, and click on H to select the entire range from B to H, as you see in the instructions. And I just want to note, if you're on a Mac, the pixels will be different, as will a handful of things on the Mac that you'll have to work a little extra to learn how to do things on Mac. More about that later. But go ahead, and for BH, so I'll do that again. I click on B, press Shift on my keyboard, and I select H in the column heading area for H. And then in between any of the column border headings, right here, using this tool, click and drag out, and we'll make all of these 110 pixels. Almost there, and almost release. There we are. And notice it made a change for all of the columns from B through H. All right, and it says if any columns are too narrow to display the data, auto-fit the column. And auto-fit, I would say, is for sure one of the coolest first new tips that you're going to learn in Excel. Let's dive into the auto-fit. All right, so for example, let's just scroll down. All right, and I'm in cell A19, alpha 19, and I'll just type in Professor Blowers and enter. Well, notice how it kind of bleeds over from A over into B. So to fix this, what you'll want to do is in the column heading area, this is a familiar cursor, just double click. Oh, you know what it did is it'll auto fit. Aha, that's good to show you too. Now I expected that it would auto fit to the edge of my name right here, but due to the fact here in Alpha 2 we have regional sales to fitness clubs, it auto fit to fit that column right there. So let me Control Z, Control Z. Another useful tool here, it's undo. You also can undo up here. You can also move forward or redo with Control Y. Another important one here would be Control V. Control C and Control V, copy and paste here in Excel. We'll get to that later. But for example, over here, let's have this in cell G3 fit. So between G and H, hover over the border, double click, and boom, percentage of total sales, and it'll auto fit it, and it'll even do it there with trend. All right, I'll Control Z, Control Z. The grader will mark you down if you make even the slightest mistake. So even if this is like 81 pixels, for example, you could get marked down for spelling mistakes on the grader because you upload it. Here's the cool thing about the grader assignment is when you're done, you work on it. So we're actually on step 2 on the grader, the 4th of our 4 assignments. You upload it, you submit the grader for grading, and the system, the computer, MyLab IT, which is software from Pearson, it'll give you an immediate grade. And I'll give you at least 3 attempts to get at least a 90%. And as long as you get above a 90 after 3 submissions, I'll take your highest grade. 90% is as good as 100. So that's the threshold that you're looking for full points on this, all right? So I'm excited. You might be able to tell. Let me jump back into Excel. Because we have got to move on to step number 3, which has us merge and center the title cell across range A1 through H1, Alpha 1 through Hockey 1. So what you'll do is go ahead and select A1, press Shift as I showed you, and select H1 to select only this range, A1 through H1. And we'll go ahead as I look around, select the Home tab, and it's asking us to merge and center. So with Alpha 1 through Hockey 1 selected, Home tab in the alignment group, click on Merge and Center, and notice what that does. It makes all of that essentially one cell, and it centers Profit Marietta right across the top. Awesome. We also want to apply the title cell style, so let's have a look for cell styles, and that would be still in the Home tab in the Styles group. Click on the Cell Styles button, and I want to say it said title. Let's make absolutely sure. This one's title, the next one's heading 1. Perfect. So Home tab, Styles group, Cell Styles button. We'll go ahead and select this one right here, which says title. Second part of this says merge and center the subtitle, A2 through H2, and we'll go for heading 1. So same thing. Click on cell A2, Alpha 2, press the Shift button on your keyboard, and go ahead and click cell H2 to select the range. We're still on the Home tab. Same step as last time. We'll go ahead in the alignment group, click the Merge and Center button, which puts it right underneath Profit Marietta as a fitting subtitle. We'll go then also in the Home tab in the Styles group, go ahead and click the Cell Styles button, and we're looking for heading 1, which is in the Titles and Headings group. And notice what I love about the newer versions of Excel and really all across Office is you can hover over all of these different styles and test out what you think is most appropriate for your business, for your school, for your class, and try out different things. For the sake of this assignment, we'll go with heading 1 because we want those points. And I think that's all the grader wants for step number 3. All right, heading 1, done and done. So step number 4 for 6 points. And something I like to do that I'll show you when I'm done with this step, and I may not do that this whole video, but it helps me keep track. I finished step number 3, I highlight it. So I'll just go ahead, just as a means of staying organized, and maybe if I only finish half the project and come back to it later, I can highlight the steps that I've done so I know exactly where to come back to. I just press Control S to save the Word document. I'll come back to Excel, Control S to save what I've done on Excel, because you don't want to lose anything. Always have a backup file and a backup to that backup file for this class so that we stay organized. It's really important in school as well as in business. Anyways, back to it. Step number 4, select the 7-column titles, apply center formatting, and apply heading 4 cell style. Center formatting, great. That'll be fun. Back to it, so that would be select cell A3, Alpha 3. Same as last time, press Shift on your keyboard and select H3, Hockey 3. It's the cell that says Trend while holding Shift. So we select that range, A3 through H3, which are the 7-column titles. The grader assumes that we know what this is by now. We'll apply the center formatting and then heading 4. So for formatting, Home tab in the alignment group, you'll see this button here. You can center your content. You can place it to the left. You can align it to the right. You also can align it to the top or the middle. But we don't want to do middle this time. We're going to do center so that all of these quarters, totals, and percentages are in the center of the cell. And it wants heading 4 for all of these. So don't deselect anything. Do not deselect anything, please. Home tab, Styles group, Cell Styles button. And we'll go ahead and in the titles and heading group, we're going with heading number 4. Back to the instructions, center formatting, heading 4. We've completed step number 4. All right, congrats. So on step number 5, we'll use the quick analysis tool. We'll sum the quarter 1 sales. There's a lot of different ways that we can do this. So let me show you how I apply the sums for the quarter totals. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put on our hat to do some math. I'll get my glasses out because we're going to be crunching some numbers and applying some formulas. So let's hop to it, team. here's a few ways to sum our totals on a PC anyways. And actually before we do that, let's auto-fit the titles. So go ahead and select up in the column heading area A, hold Shift and go over and Shift select H, and in between any of the column headings, double click. And what that does for us is it auto-fits everything so that every cell fits neatly and there's not any extra, for example, let me drag D out, there's not any extra area or space. Everything's fit and centered so we can zoom in and have a better look at our numbers, right? Because that's the priority. For now anyways. Pardon. We're down in cell Bravo 7. And let me show you, like I said, a few different ways to sum our totals. Mac users, it may be a bit different. So go ahead and click on cell Bravo 4 and drag down to B6, Bravo 6. And you'll notice this box pops up in the lower right-hand portion. You can press Control Q to get the quick analysis box to pop up, or you can just select the box. And you'll notice all these different options up at the top, right? Isn't that handy? We'll go to totals because we want to sum up the total sales, and you'll notice the Greek symbol here for sum or for auto sum that you may see up at the top in the editing group. Go ahead and click that, and that's our first way to sum up our Q1 sales for the Northeast, Southeast, and the West. Another way to do it is to go ahead and let's see here. Let's select, we're over in the C column. Let's select the range C4 through C7, Charlie 4 through, 6, Charlie 6. Here's our quick analysis tool, if you will. We're not going to click that this time around. Like I said, Home tab, Editing Group. We'll click the Auto Sum button, and there's the sum for us down in Charlie 7. The next way is how I usually do it. So in cell D7, Delta 7, press equals, type in sum, and look at all these different sum options. We'll stick with our traditional sum. I'll double click that. Notice it puts in a bracket. Then we'll manually click and drag cells D4 down through D6. Be sure to press Shift 0 to close the bracket. Press Enter, and we're going to get our sum right here in D7. And then more traditional way to do it, go ahead, we're in cell E7, Echo 7. Please press equals, and we'll manually click on cell E4. Press Shift plus, it's the same one as the equals, but press Shift on your keyboard. E4 plus, click E5. You could type it, right? Plus, this time I will type it, E6. Press Enter, and we've got our total right there, right? So a lot of different ways we can accomplish that. You can click and drag over here if you do want to bold your totals, which is typically done. You want to show or highlight things in Excel, and there's a lot of really great ways to visualize our work in Excel that we're going to get to right after this project. So let's see here. That was step number 5. We've summed it, copied it across that's right. So I've shown you how to do that. But even more importantly, so if you followed along with me, you can go ahead and clear out cells C7, D7, and E7. So select those and press Delete and click back in to make sure there's nothing. Just because something shows up, or I'm sorry, just because it looks like a cell is blank, doesn't mean that there isn't something under the hood. And we'll get into what's going on under the hood in Excel later. But let me go ahead and start this from the beginning, making sure that's working good. We're in business, and we're on step number 5. I'll go through it one more time. So go ahead and select cell B4, click and drag through B6, click this quick analysis tool right here, go to totals, and select sum to sum that up. Now here's the coolest thing I think for a beginning Excel user. In the bottom right corner, you're going to get out a different cursor if you hover over that handle right there, that little rotation handle. And you want this one that I have right here. It's a black plus sign. What you do is click and drag to the right through cells C7 D7, and E7, and let go. And notice we have the same numbers. So rather than having to go through, I'll Control Z just to show you, rather than having to either drag it down, auto sum, 1, 2, 3, click, and D4 through 6, let's sum that up. That's time consuming. Okay, there's the totals button and their sum. Okay, maybe I'll speed it up and I'll go to E7 and Home tab, editing group, auto sum button. Okay, that was pretty quick, but you know what I think is quicker? I'll delete those. And notice that time I pressed backspace, and that's why we press the delete button. All right. And if you get this problem, it won't deselect. Press escape. Okay. I'm forcing an error so you can see what to do when this happens. So just press escape to deselect everything. Click off. Here's how you do it one more time. Let's clear Charlie 7 through Echo 7. Click and drag C7, D7, E7, delete. And one more time, how to sum the totals across here. We're looking for this cursor right there. Drag it across, and you'll have your totals right there across the bottom. And we'll mark that we're done with step number 5 by highlighting it. And we're on to step number 6. Exciting. So we'll select the Northeast sales for all 4 quarters, quick analysis gallery for totals. Interesting. So we're going to sum across the Northeast. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Look at that. There's our quick analysis tool right here. Let's dive on in. And it's such a fun project because there's so many different ways we can do this. And so let's have a look. We actually didn't finish our totals for each of the regions. So as the instructions ask us to do it, and when this is done, I'm going to show you with just one click how to get all of these totals. Again, another note for Mac users. Okay, we're going to select the Northeast sales. Quick analysis, it says click the second sum option, the 6th item in the gallery. Okay, let's have a look and see what that is. There's a quicker way. So 1, 2, 3, 4 across, Bravo 4 through Echo 4. Here's our quick analysis tool. We're on totals, and I recall it saying 6th item in the gallery, totals, second sum option, 6th in the gallery. It's in yellow. I thought I saw yellow. Oh, perfect. All right, and then we copy it down. Wonderful. All right. So the book has a curious way to do it. So again, Bravo 4, drag across through Echo 4, click our quick analysis tool, click totals, and go ahead and click this sum over here in yellow. And are those hashtags? Oh wait, it's a pound symbol. Well, either way, however you call it, here's a really cool fix for the hashtags here. So anytime you see this error right here, all you have to do in the column heading area, display, here I am in between E and F and G, double click using this cursor, and there's your totals right there. All right, so that'll fix the, and what that means is that, I'll go ahead and drag it back to show you. It means that there's something inside that cell that is too big or too long and it doesn't fit, and it just says hashtag, hashtag, double click, so we can see what's in there. And it'll auto-fit it, is what it's called. It's an auto-fit, is that double click. So then we have these totals right here. Show you how to do it one more time to get those reps in. Bravo 4 through Echo 4, quick analysis tool, totals button, sum right there, and just like that, it fits. The instructions want us to copy it down through Echo 7, is that right? F7. I should know better. So that would be this cursor, not that one, not that one, but this one. Click and drag, 1, 2, 3, and release. And there's our totals. And our grand total for all 4 quarters and all 3 of our regions would be, and if I apply the comma style, I'm sure it'll have us do it later, $2,502,611.35. That is, let's put it this way, that is the entire pie. We'll go with blackberry pie. That was my grandfather's favorite pie. I'm more of a pumpkin pie fan, but pecan's all right with me. Can't go wrong with pie. I'm a Twin Peaks fan, so coffee and pie. Anyway, side note. back to this. Let's take off the comma style. I'll Control Z one more time and go back to the instructions. I said I'd show you a real quick way to do all of this. And so let me go ahead and clear all of this. So you don't need to follow along. This is just for your curiosity. So let's clear the totals here. Let's clear the totals here. And we'll go ahead and select the range Bravo 4 through Falcon 7. Home tab, editing group. Did I say one click? Click the auto sum button. Same numbers, right? And I'll just go ahead and apply the comma style to show you. Oh, how do we fix that? Hashtag, hashtag, double click, everything fits. I hope you're out there learning a lot. I'm having fun. This is my plant who will be joining me in some videos. So on to the next step, is that right? We got the same numbers, so let's have a look. We copied it down. We've done step number 6. How exciting. Step number 7, apply the accounting number format. Well, not comma style. Same area though. First row of sales figures and to the total row. First row sales figures, total row. Alright, so back to Excel. Hey folks. Back to Excel, and I'll Control Z to take off the comma style. What it wants us to do is down in the, I believe it's Falcon 4 through Falcon 7. Select that range and then click, 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 click to have all of those selected. And what it says is first row of sales figures and total row, comma style to the middle. Got it. All right. So this is accounting number format. So that is home tab number group. That's the dollar symbol right up here. Oh, there's our hashtags. Double click. Now it fits. Now we have dollar symbols on all of our totals. And then from Bravo 4 down through Echo 6, select that range. We'll be applying the comma style, which you've become so familiar with in this video. That's this button, home tab number group comma style button. Click that. Excellent. There's all our commas. And we'll go to our instructions. I know there's one more thing to do. Format the totals in row 7 with the total cell style. Increase, well, we already did that. We've increased the column width as needed. That is our Autofit, the double click for the hashtags that I showed you. I just sometimes like to get ahead of the game. What can I say? Row 7, total cell style. So back to Excel. Here's row 7. And does it say just the totals or everything? Let's see here. Totals in row 7. Right? That's a quick way to get marked down, would be to apply it to the whole deal. So let's just apply it to cell Bravo 7 through Falcon 7. Still in the Home tab. We'll go to the Styles group, Cell Styles button, and look at me, I forgot the name of the style we're looking for. It's going to be called Total Cell Style, which is appropriate. So Home tab Styles group, Cell Styles button. Total is in the Titles and Headings group on the far right. There it is. Click it, and we're in business. That's it. All right, that's 8 more points. We are on a roll. I'll go ahead and highlight that. They want us to insert a whole new row. If anything is ever in blue in the grader or on the grader in MyLab IT, that means we're going to be typing something or entering in some data. So I'll show you how to insert a new row, and just want to show you real quick so we can mark our progress as I scroll down. And here's more blue, that means we're typing or entering something. Everything is working towards 100 points. Anything that makes 90 points is worth a full 100. We've got 17 steps, really 16 steps. So step 8 is halfway there, and that's what we're on right now. So congrats, we are here at the halfway mark. And as I look back through the instructions, I may have misguided you. It says we need to make changes to the first row of sales figures, not this column here. So to backtrack, select F4 through F6, and you can go ahead in the Home tab number group, just change that to comma style so it goes back. Then select Bravo 4 across to Falcon 4, and we'll go to the top, Home tab number group, make that accounting number format right there. And then what we're going to want to do, that's bolded, that's bolded. All right, we're in business. let's insert that row. So go ahead and in the row heading area, right click on the number 6 and select the insert button here, and notice it'll automatically put in a new row in 6. So click in Alpha 6, we'll type in Midwest. Press Tab to go over to Bravo 6, we'll enter in the numbers 110,985.45. Press Tab to go to the next one. Notice the totals are automatically changing. That's excellent. That's 118,674.91. Tab, totals are still changing. 100,548.50. Press Tab, the totals continue to change, especially down in Falcon 8. This one it'll change Echo 8 and Falcon 8. So go ahead here, and the number is 120,621.17 if I'm not mistaken. Yep. Press Enter. Everything's updated. 2.9 million. Now we're looking for one more total that's missing. That would be here in Falcon 6. So select Falcon 5, and same as before, that little dot in the bottom right or southeast corner of cell F5, you want the solid black plus sign. Click and drag down, and you'll get 450,000 for our Midwest totals, just like that. Excellent. Really quick. Think back to the days of having to do this by hand, or watch the TED Talk of the inventor of the electronic spreadsheet, and you'll realize that how quickly we're able to do these things in Excel is a major turn and a major upgrade to what we were doing with accounting in the 70s and 80s. So have a look at that TED Talk. Anyways, are we on to the next step? Let's go to the instructions. We copied the cell. Hey, more than halfway there. So I'll highlight that. So using absolute cell reference, F4. Ooh, is this our first time talking about absolute cell reference? Make sure to add this. I'm going to bold it because I want you to add it to your notes so that we can copy the formula in cell G4. So let's have a look at G4 right here. Percentage of total sales. This will be the most important lesson of today in Excel, is how to effectively use absolute cell reference. So pay close attention, add this to your notes, and make sure that you have this down. It's a bit of a procedure, but once you do have it down, and again a note, it's different for Mac users, so be sure to look up using your resources how to do that via Mac. I'm working on PC right here, and it's the same idea, just a different button, command instead of control, for instance. But have a look as I dive into calculating a percentage of total sales. That's another formula that'll be important to this class, the percentage of total sales formula. All right? So I know it sounds like a lot. That's why I'm saying take some time right now to press pause, look into it, and then we'll get back here so you have more of a frame of reference for, do you like my picture frame right there, for how to do absolute cell reference. All right? So, noted. On to step number 9. And what we'll do over here in cell G4, type in equals, and what we'll do is type F4, or you could click it, I suppose, and press the / sign, which is divide, and then F8, right? So your total Northeast sales divided by your total sales will give you the percentage of which the Northeast sales make up your total sales, right? But there's one important step, and that's absolute cell reference, like I said. And you do this by pressing F4 on the PC. If you're on a Mac, it was Command T. So try that out, Mac users, but look it up. Take the time now. For us, there's actually a function button. You may have, keyboards have changed. I used to teach Keyboarding 101, and they've changed over the years. My mom was a keyboarding teacher, so I'm really fortunate to have caught up on the history. And some of you may have an actual F4 button on your keyboard. So if you want, go ahead and press that. If there's an FN key, for me it's next to my Control key. Press that FN button and then F4. And what that does is it puts dollar signs on either side of the letter F in cell G4, gamma 4. And that tells us that there's absolute cell reference that's been applied. Press Enter. and it'll say 0.28, right? So if you take that and you put it into percentage style, the Northeast is about 28.6% of the total sales, right? I'll show you how to do that here soon. Okay, so again, one more time through it. I deleted that. In cell G4, type equals, and this time I'll click on F4, / to divide, click on F8, and press the function key on my keyboard, click on F4 to get the dollar signs, or manually put the dollar signs up in the formula bar on either side of the letter F. Once you have this formula constructed, press enter, and what we'll do is in G4 in the lower right corner, we've become familiar with this cursor, click and drag down through gamma 7, G7. And I just want to show you one thing. Do not do this click with me, but if I click this one more further, it should show the number 1, which is 100% if I switch over to the percentage style up here. All right, I'll Control Z though. You'll know that that's the total sales. 100% is the full piece of pie that I mentioned earlier in the video. So I can drag back up to get rid of that because you don't want that there. And you can tell immediately that the West is contributing most to the regional sales for fitness clubs, interestingly. So once you have all of that, and again, this is one of the most handy tricks and useful tools in Excel. And what it does is it tells you, hey, I want to divide, this is in cell F8, this is the common denominator. Think division. I told you this was going to be kind of like a math class, right? So that total piece of the pie is on the bottom part of the fraction. And what it's saying, those dollar signs, the absolute cell reference, is saying, okay, first you're going to divide that first region by the total amount. But then, let me show you, it'll divide F4 by F8. But it tells Excel, next I want you to do F5 over F8, F6 by F8, and F7 by F8. What it does is it allows us to auto sum everything and drag it down. If we didn't do these dollar signs or apply the absolute cell reference, none of the formulas here would work at all. So for business, for finance, for accounting, this is crucial. You need to have this down before we move on to Chapter 2. Get lots of practice in this. But the next order of business, and let me know if you do need that extra practice, all right? I'm very supportive in that regard. Once we have that done, though, what we'll do is select the range G4 through G7. That's G as in golf. I think that's the way to say it, not gamma. Either or, golf, G. Select that range, and you're going to apply, as I did before, the percentage style. You can also select Control-Shift plus the percentage button, which should be Shift 5. Click it. Those are all of our percentages. And let's check the instructions. We copied the formula. It says so that you can copy the formula. All right. Saves us time and improves efficiency in Excel. So we calculated the percentage of total sales. We copied it down. That is 10% of the project. Let me give you those points. It says to the computed percentages, apply percent style, 2 decimal places, and center it. 2 decimal places and center it. So we've already applied percentage style. I'll highlight that. Let's go ahead and 2 decimal places and center it. Alrighty. Home tab, alignment group. You'll notice this button here, it'll decrease the indent. This button will increase the indent. Alright. Just want to kind of show you around. Oh, pardon me. A few different things here. This button will center it right there. And as I look around, hang on just a moment. It's in the number group. That's where it is. Done this project so many times. I saw an arrow here in the alignment group. Pardon me. You saw what these buttons here did. You can also hover over to see what it does. All right. Increase and decrease your indent. We're in the number group looking for these arrows and the dots. You can increase the decimal or decrease the decimal. We want to increase it twice. So click this button here. Home tab number group. Increase decimal button 2 times to get it to the 100th place, and we've already centered it, but again, that's in the alignment group. to center it would be right here to get all of those percentages. And if you were to drag down, that would be 100% on the dot. Drag back up, you don't need to do that. We can say that we've completed now step number 10. We're cruising. Inserting sparklines. As far as I know, this is the only project, or one of the few that you need to insert sparklines. There's a lot of ways to visualize the data, and this is our first kind of foray into that. So that would be range H4 through H7. We're going to compare quarterly data. And you'll notice we've gotten through the bulk of the project. There's not as many points left, so be careful what you do early on in the project, because the changes that we make, especially with the numbers, always be checking your numbers in Excel, because that's what's most important, at least in the early stages, because if you get the numbers wrong, or if you get just one formula wrong early on in this project, it will derail all future calculations, right? So you've seen how the numbers, the sales numbers, rely on other sales numbers as we calculate the totals. This is how we can make various business decisions, right? So let's click in H4, and we will make our screen a little larger. Here we go, trend H4. We'll go ahead at the top. We'll mosey on over to the Insert tab, and we will go to the, let's see here. We're looking for lines. We're inserting Sparklines. Bear with me just a quick moment. Here we go. Insert a line or area chart. There we go. It's actually a Sparklines group. Insert Sparklines group, and there's a line button right here, line Sparkline. It'll tell you what those are. Go ahead and click that. It'll say, hey, what range is the data from? And we'll go ahead and we'll tell it, let's look across the Northeast sales, so B4 through E4, Echo 4. You could type that in manually, but let's go ahead and just press OK now that we have that. There's our trend, and we can, just as we've done before, using this cursor in the bottom right corner of cell H4, click and drag down through cell H7, and notice how our trend lines change. So we've got a better idea of how the sales numbers changed across quarters in each region, right? We need to choose a style. You'll notice then at the top that a whole new tab has popped up called Sparkline. And depending on what we have selected in Excel will determine what comes up on your screen, all right? So let's see here. This right here is known as the More button. You'll see this a lot. Here, go ahead and click that, and we are looking for the one, let's see here, I believe it's called Brown Sparkline Style 2 Accent 2 Darker 25. Let's check in the book. Bear with me just a moment. Step 11 is the one that we're on. It says show the markers, apply a style using the second style, second row. I need to add the markers, and back here, more button, second style, second row, that's this one. And over in the show group, click on markers, so that over here in the H column, we got a better idea at where the sales figures are landing, right? It's a visual aid that's particularly handy for us to make business decisions. Mac users, there will be some differences for you here as well. Please reach out if you need some support there, as I also have Macs. So, check. Let's go ahead and make sure that we have that marked for 8 points. For 6, we're going to compare the quarterly sales visually, and so let's go ahead and dive right on into that and take a look at some recommended charts too. This will be fun. So be sure that you choose the same range as me and do not include the totals. So click on cell A3, Alpha 3, click and drag across through Echo 7, E7, this range, not including any of the totals that are bolded, all right? Then what you'll do is Insert tab, we're already there, Charts group, we'll go to Recommended Charts, and in fact, Clustered Column, you'll see at the top, this is the one that it recommends. So we'll go ahead and just click OK, and that's great. Would you have a look at that? So we've got all 4 of our quarterly sales data and all of the sales figures, and it's a great visual for us to understand the data that we have going on. And you're welcome to kind of scoot that out of the way for now so you can see both the data and your chart. but make sure that you have the chart selected as represented by these handles on the outside of it. Okay, don't have this selected also, right? You can select all of these data bars, or you could select these in the axis area. But what you want to do, I'll click off and then just click in this general area, and it'll select the whole thing, and it'll give you your chart design tab up at the top. So let's figure out what we're going to do with it next, all right? You know what though? Let's flip it. Let's switch it. All right, so let's put the regions up here in the quarters down there, all right? So in the chart design tab over in the data group, it says switch row / column. And it'll tell you what that does if you hover over it. Click it. And notice now how we can compare the regions rather than the quarters and vice versa. All right? Incredibly handy. Now, this is what I love about Excel. Making what was once numbers, right? We did this from scratch. Come to life. Let's see what we do next, all right? So we've switched it. Excellent. I'm just checking the instructions. We've inserted the clustered column, regions as the category axis, and quarters as the legend category axis and value axis. Those are 2 things to add to your notebook, to a vocabulary list. Category axis, value axis, the y-axis, and the x-axis in Excel. All right, so we've done step number 12. We'll highlight it. Step number 13, it says apply chart style 8. All right, so back to Excel. Let's see, it's still selected. We will select our More button, and it says it wants number 8, 5, 6. I'll assume this one right here is 8, and that adds a lot of flavor to our Excel spreadsheet here. I like it a lot. We'll select it, and we'll get the points for it. So we'll change the colors by applying third row of colors under colorful. Third row of colors under colorful, so change colors. Third row of colors under colorful. I assume that's colorful palette 3. I'll go ahead and select that. Ooh, all right. Very nice. Third row of colors, colorful. Did that say colorful? It sure did. That's the third row. All right. We'll position the upper middle sizing handle of the chart between column D and E just below 9. So the upper middle right in between row 9, D, and E. All right. Upper middle would be this rotation handle here. It's pretty close in between D and E. All right. Just a little more over to the right. Click and drag using this cursor here. And it says just below row 9. All right, so leave just a little bit of space and make sure that that middle handle is fairly close to the middle of D and E right here. Then what we'll do is we'll go ahead, we don't want this chart to be called chart title. Let's make it something more relevant, such as regional sales, sales to fitness clubs. All right, go ahead and type that in. And I just want to mark that we're done with step number 13. And I thought I'd go ahead and finish number 14 for you, get you an additional 4 points. We typed it in, so that was in blue here. Then we're going to deselect the chart, change the orientation. Great. This is how we know that the project's almost done, because we're going into the properties and adding footers. So we'll be done in just a moment, and I'll show you how to upload it and get some points and get feedback on this file in just a moment. I'm excited. And we'll go to the page layout tab up at the top, and go ahead and click over to the right hand side, let's say in the J column. Page layout tab, in the page setup group, there's a margins button. Go ahead, orientation button, and we'll change it to landscape as asked. Perfect. We're going to center the worksheet horizontally, and we'll do that by clicking on the page setup button, which is this little arrow in the bottom right of page setup. We'll click that, select its margins, which is the next tab over, and it wants us to center on page horizontally, which is this button that we need to make sure is clicked right here. So let's put in a custom footer, all right? Sound good? All right. So we'll go over to the next tab, which is our header footer button here, and tab. And we'll enter in a custom footer. And I'm already hovering over it. It's the file name. We'll put it in the left section. Excellent. We'll go back to the directions. And I believe that's it for step 15. Centered horizontally, footer with the file name. All right, 4 points. There's only 2 more. And again, our goal is at least 90 points to get that full credit. We'll go to document properties and we'll type fitness clubs and regional sales. So back to Excel, we can press OK here. That's all we'll do. And we'll press OK in the page setup pop-up there. And that's all been applied. It's looking great. The numbers check out. We'll go ahead and for the last step is go and click File. We will press the Info button. And over on the right-hand side right here, we're going to tag it. And I've forgotten already, so I'll go back. In blue it says fitness clubs, regional sales. Be careful with spelling. These are not capitalized with a comma in between. In addition to that, in the subject box, type our course name and section number. So that would be, let's see here. Well, whatever my class is. Hold on. That would be in the category. In the subject box. There we go. It's important to double check and make sure where everything is. And so now some of you may need to press a button as I had to. You press the show all properties button to make sure that subject pops up. Show fewer properties and it's not there for me. Alright, so I'll click it one more time and in the subject we'll go ahead and we'll type in our course, which we'll go ahead and do BTS 165, though you could be taking BTS 161 or any number of classes. So just go ahead and type it in right here and let's save early and often. And I want to make sure my name displayed. Great, it did. Course name, section number, I won't get too picky about it. You won't get marked down. Just type in whatever class that you're taking with me. Mark it, save, close the workbook, and submit it for grading. So Control S, I've saved it, and submit it for grading. So let me go ahead and mark that because I will show you how to do the next step. So go ahead and let's see. We've successfully finished the project. We downloaded it. We worked on it. Now we need to upload it. We're on to step number 3. Click Choose File. And we'll be in our downloads. Let's see, 1G Regional Sales. And it is our 1G Regional Sales XLSX file. Double click that. Press Upload. It'll say 100%, but wait. It has to say Success, which you are if you completed this. And we'll click Submit for grading. Click on Close Assignment. Kudos. We'll go back to Course Materials. Alright, and it's already given me a grade. Now if it says pending right here for you, what you'll want to do, and even if it shows you the score, congrats if you got above a 90, congrats for completing this assignment. First thing you want to do here is, and I should have forced an error right here, click on View and you know what I'll do? I will force that error. Click on View Submissions. And then what you'll do, this is my first submission, you get 3 submissions for this project, alright? So you'll see 1 out of 1. You click in this area, just kind of anywhere in this blank area, to get the next page, which is really excellent. It'll auto-grade you and tell you the score that you got on each of the steps and kind of give you feedback on how to make improvements. I'm going to go back and I'm going to sabotage this Excel assignment and I'm going to show you how to make improvements real quick. Alright, so check out what I've done. I just deleted these sales numbers and derailed our total sales. I re-uploaded it and I managed to get a 92. I click in this area and I'll scroll down and let's see here. Step number 5. Alright, so I marked it in red. So you can click in this area, that drop down, and it'll tell you, well of course our formulas produced incorrect numbers. I got all of those numbers wrong. Let's see where else I made mistakes. I scroll down and steps 8 and 9. Alright, so I click this area right here. And these are the parts of step number 9 that I missed. I'll collapse it back. And I will click this drop down here. And I didn't do this, 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 or this. And lost that many points. Another way to do it is to click on and download the live comments report right here. And then open up, it's so cool, it's the Excel file that you yourself just worked on only it has put in comments. I just want to make sure that this is working. It is, great. And it's put in comments. Click on the sheet right here, and anywhere you've got red here, I'll enable editing. You can then see whatever, it's called a markup report, and you can see on your Excel file where you've made mistakes by looking at this. Oh, hovering over, there's the project error. I hover over cell C6 and I see that error. And so this is a way for me to go back in and fix my work and work independently. So it's really, really handy in Excel, especially given this style of class that we're taking, right? And so let's see here. I'll go back to my lab. And again, you get 3 submissions. Anything higher than a 90% earns full credit on these. And that's really it. So thank you. Thank you for being here. That was really great. I enjoyed learning with you. Keep up the good work. Next week is a bit longer of an assignment. All right, so feel free to press pause to start and stop the assignment. Just save early, save often, and I hope you learn a lot. Take care. That's it for me. I'm Professor Blowers. See you for now.